Hello everyone, and welcome back on my YouTube channel. Today I'm in Berlin visiting the studio of the German artist Corinna Rosteck. Corinna, she was born in a small city in the north of Germany, but she grew up between Berlin and Ibiza in Spain. Her art combined different mediums including photography, videography and installations. During her studies here in Berlin, supported by prestigious scholarship and study residency, Corinna started to intensify an artistic exploration in painterly photography. She attended in New York City at the International Center of Photography, London at Central St. Martin's, and at the Cinémathèque in Paris. Water and dance are central themes in Corinna's artworks. She created her own performances and installation, working alongside renewed dance companies and solo dancers. Corinna's art straddles the line between factual photography and painting, depicting the always in danger equilibrium as a passage through time. Thank you, Corinna, for having me in your beautiful studio here in Berlin. It's full of amazing artwork, I have to say.
I'm looking very much forward to show you around, Sarah.
Perfect. Corinna, I know that your childhood brought a lot of inspiration in your artwork. Can you tell me a little bit more about?
Yes, certainly. I was grown up in my early childhood in Ibiza, which is a legendary white island.
That's amazing.
And it was one of my most influential, inspiring myths and childhood dreams, still continuing. It's a stable myth and kaleidoscope of alternative life forms. So I got very early in contact with an interesting Spanish artistic art scene, but especially the clear crystal water and the Mediterranean light influenced and inspired me to my first watercolors.
I definitely understand where you get all the inspiration from.
But also the artists which were in that time around, they were incredible, interesting, like Tapies, Miro, and the group Zero.
And now another question for you, Corinna. Why do you choose photography?
Photography is a wonderful medium to swap between two genres, like painting and photography. And I first started with painting here at the Academy of Fine Arts in Berlin and was going into the abstract. But when I went on with my studies in London at Central St. Martin's School and Slade School of Fine Art, I was from printmaking slowly coming into the photo medium and photo etching and start picking a lot of things of reality up and putting it into my artwork. So I photograph what I do not want to paint and I paint what I cannot photograph.
That's amazing. Corinna, I know that water is one of the central themes in your artwork. Why did you choose it and what does it mean for you?
Water has the incredible beauty of sparkling, of whirling, of like spring, like bubbles, and everything what is eternal. Water is something very beautiful but has its own bitterness. And if you are moving through water, you have an instability and you can't grasp any balance anymore. And what you, for example, you see in this picture, you see the air even going into these bubbles and you can't find any perspective which is stable. The color of water is transparent, but here in this picture you see how floating water goes over a kind of icy underground. And what fascinates me in water is to have always these two levels, the above on the surface and the underneath structures, but you can't grasp it.
Corinna, I know that you work with different mediums like photography, videography, and then as well you do installations like this light box.
Yeah, installation is perfectly made for this kind of material because I can adapt to any environment, to any architecture. It can be shown in big buildings, but also in private environments. And it has an enormous effect for being lit from the back or being integrated into architecture. This kind of photography, especially these water images, are perfectly made for installations in big firms and also in private environments. Installations like I did already with transparencies integrated into architecture as huge photo walls to B. Braun AG, also to the medical firm or to a water firm here in Berlin, where you have a whole environment built of photos in a art and public space project.
Another theme always present in Corinna's works is dance. Why do you choose to represent it so much as water?
You can't freeze motion, you can't freeze movement all over. It's something fascinating because you can overcome time, you fleet the time, and you come into a kind of eternal state of mind that you doesn't grab something what is happening in time.
Corinna, do you use any specific techniques to produce your artworks as a photography?
Yes, I've developed in various different stages in 3 levels this kind of capturing moments of freezing time, what I overwind, what I would like to overcome. Here we have a long time exposure. You see hundreds of movements in, let's say, a second, and you certainly take a certain length and a certain time to overcome this and to let it flow, let it fly through this kind of picture, what I chose, this cutout. So when I'm in the rehearsals for the ballet companies or for the dance companies I'm working with, here it is Eurydice and the huge choreography of Johannes Wieland at Staatstheater Kassel, Orfeo. This is Eurydice turning, twirling into the Hades. It's, let's say, like 1/10 or 1 second where she's turning around. And I have then, because I expect that moment, I have then put my lens and the time of my shutter speed in a long time exposure. The second thing what I'm using is, for example, this very interesting movement here in the Sadim production, a choreography of a young Palestinian dance choreographer. You have a kind of abstract photography which doesn't look any right, but it has all these moments what you capture when you go with the camera and you focus on different moments in space. And you try to put that all together like an eye is reacting. It's not like that you freeze this moment or that moment in this perspective. You bring it all together in so far that you're focusing on different points, and in the end you push the button and bring it all together. So long time exposure is more like capturing the time, and in a certain point I cut the time off, and the double exposure I use here in this Sadim picture is a figurative conglomeration and a double exposure of multi-layers. So it's a multi-exposuring time of 4 or 5 pictures on one moment, and you bring it together as if you have one scene.
Corinna, can you show me an example of the 2 combined elements, which is water and dance?
Yes, I can show you that on different pictures which I selected, and the great thing is the different qualities of a shiny reflective surface combined with the body movements in one big image, and it's like overlapping but also transforming the dancers into the liquid.
Perfect.
Here in this picture, Masha Kipsala, you see an incredible flame of the body, the embodiment in the water, curling and twirling and whirling and sparkling into the water as a long circle. What fascinates me here is the transformation between these 2 qualities of flesh and the abstract transparency and nothingness of the water.
This is the 3 different types of paper that Corinna uses to print her artworks.
You have here the shiny glossy paper of the former lambda chrome, now Chromera Pearl. There you have the unfinished final metal print, and this is a finalized metal print with a special stage of 3 printing processes in the end before it comes to the plate.
We are now in the lab where Corinna prints her artworks. So this is the first step that you do, Corinna. Can you please explain all the process?
Yes, I come with the final file here to the photo lab, and I do the first printout, which is this shiny equivalent material which I use for the printing process, and it's a full-size format on acceptable size of 30 by 40, and I just find out if it's a harmonic composition, if the colors are right, and after the calibration for the big printers, I start the printing process.
This is the final second step for the finishing of Corinna's printing artworks.
What you can see here is a very smooth and mattable techo-iridium material, which is a fine quality to show the immense depth of the image, but also to have a good gray here in the grain in the white and gray areas. And it's it has a very strong contrast. So that makes it, and it's just the process and the printing before the finishing.
And this, after all the process that we're showing you guys, this is the final result of Corinna's artwork.
The technique is perfect with the finishing because now it has been covered with a certain foil, and you see that it's a matte, perfect, clear covering for the white parts of the picture. It looks like shiny gray reflective and has a very direct and open surface.
Thank you very much all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel to have more insight about the artwork.